Okay.
Hi, Doreen. We can hear you, my love. Hi, Jessica. Glad you could join us today.
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. Where are you joining from?
Jackson Health Foundation, how are you? So sorry. I'm like in
Where?
the middle of a cough. Jackson Health Foundation?
Oh, wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. I'm still coughing.
Right, we all have it together.
Yeah, I gotta have my coffee quota. Hello, Janine. Good afternoon. No, good morning, Terry. Nice to see you. Good. We're still good morning. Good morning, Sarah. Glad you could join us today.
Hi. Hey, I did not mean to be in the car during this, but I am. So I'm going to mute myself and turn off my camera and listen in.
Travel
Thank
safely,
you.
and we will be emailing the recording. Um,
Wonderful.
but so safe travels.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Good official, or it's for some morning. Good morning, Shannon, and good morning, Danielle. Glad you could join us this morning.
Good morning.
Where are you joining us from, Shannon?
I'm from the University of Waterloo, actually
Okay.
in Ontario. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're so glad that you're here.
Yes.
Sending our warm, our well,
Yes.
our warm weather from South Florida, but today it's actually very chilly for us. It's in the 60s. Can you believe it?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I can't do conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius in my head. But we had a very warm like spring coat weather weekend, and all the snow melted. And then 2 days ago we got a big dump of snow again. So yeah,
Bless,
Mother Nature
bless.
says, just kidding. Thank you.
Yes. We're a little spoiled here, but glad you're here and hopefully feeling our warmth. And then I think we had Courtney just join. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Paige. We've got more people coming in, and now we're officially good afternoon. Good afternoon, Valerie, and got some more people joining in the fun. Oh, Doreen, you are welcome to the party. Good afternoon. And then I think Tara just joined. Hi, Tara. So we appreciate everyone. We're gonna give it till about 12:05 before getting started, and then we're gonna turn it over to our great presenters. Um, it's gonna be a great session today, and we're really excited that y'all plugged in.
Absolutely excited to hear about how to better craft our stories.
I know,
So
right, Doreen?
yeah. Thank you,
Got
ladies.
a good presentation waiting for us. And we will be emailing the recording afterwards and the slides that Jennifer and Hallie are putting together for us. So we're really grateful to have them with us. And we've got people all the way from Canada today. So we're Ontario. I think it's pretty impressive. And is everyone feeling the March pinch, the busyness, the March madness, so to speak? It gets a little spicy this time of year. And then summer comes around and it's planning time. Pressure to close. That is right. Big pressure. End of fiscal year. For some of us, June 30 is our fiscal year end. So the mad dash to close meaningful gifts. And we're gonna glean some great information from the heart of fundraising. And then just for you all that are joining us today, anytime you register, even if you can't sit and join with us, we'd love you to join with us. But if not, we always email the recording afterwards. So if something happens in your life, because we know life, especially in the nonprofit sector, we're always happy to email that email the recording and content to you because we understand how important access to quality education is. We're going to start in about 2 minutes. So get your coffee quota, get your water, whatever you need to get the party started. Welcome, Isabella. And then I let someone else in. Was it Courtney? Oh, we're just excited that you're here. And Carolina's here. Oh, Isabella and Devin. That's right. So glad you are here. And thank you for Hi, Richard. Pleasure. We got more people joining the fun. Latifa. Hello. Good afternoon, Latifa and Azra. Glad y'all could join us.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
All right, we got about 1 more minute and then we'll get the parties started. And it is recording. Okay. Always got to make sure that record button is on. Else how are you going to get the recording afterwards? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It is 12:05, and for AFP Miami and the 3:05, it is time to start. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for joining us today for our education session. We've got a great presentation for you all. A few housekeeping and updates before I turn over to the learning session. Great to have some AFP Miami board members here with us. Richard and Courtney, and we're just really excited for you all to be here. My name is Christine Perez. I am the AFP Miami president, and I'm also the AFP Miami education chair. And it's such a pleasure to curate educational content for our members. And as a dedication to our nonprofit community, all of our virtual sessions are free for members and future members for the rest of the year because we believe access to quality education should not be behind a paywall. So you're welcome, and it's our privilege and our joy to provide that to you. Coming down the corner, we've got some great education sessions. I'll drop them in the chat so you don't have to remember all of them, but we'll send them in an e-blast. But April 9th, we've got financial storytelling, to engage boards and prove your impact. This session is on equipping the fundraiser to be able to talk about their financial statements to tell a story, which is, believe it or not, really exciting. I think it's exciting. Then June, we've got navigating the 2025 tax laws and how you can strategically use that to elevate your fundraising. That's June 4th. We've got some other things that are just about to come out. We've got a good session in May that's coming up, but I don't have the materials yet for it quite yet. Then mark your calendars. We've got a May 21st. We're having a member mixer in person, a save the date to follow. It will be at FIU, and we are so excited. So stay tuned for more information on that. Now, for my Miami friends and family, we have National Philanthropy Day is already scheduled, but nominations are now open to nominate someone in your community. The nominations are open now through May 15th. We have moved the nomination period up earlier so we can promote and celebrate the day. And so I dropped that in the chat, and I'll drop some more information about the day, but definitely save the date, but definitely think of someone that you would like to nominate for National Philanthropy Day on November. Let's make sure I get the date right. We've been doing this a couple years now. So the save the date is November 6th. So that is when National Philanthropy Day is, but nominations are due May 15th. And then finally, we also understand that sometimes professional development budgets are the first things to go when there is some budget crisis or budget pinches, so to speak. So we, as a chapter, have decided to offer free mentorship to anyone, whether you're a member or a future member. So if you're interested, please let us know. And I'm going to drop that in the chat. If you are not muted, please mute. All right. And then without further ado, let's introduce our speakers. So today we have From the Heart Fundraising. From the Heart Fundraising is a fundraising event consulting and auctioneering firm co-founded by licensed auctioneers Hallie Young, CFRE BAS, and Jennifer Downs, CFRE BAS. Together, Hallie and Jennifer combine years of nonprofit leadership experience with dynamic onstage presence to help organizations amplify their missions and maximize event revenue. From the Heart specializes in live benefit auctioneering, paddle raises, mission moment storytelling, and comprehensive fundraising event consulting. With their background as former development directors, they both bring strategic insight and practical know-how to every partnership. They guide nonprofits not only through the event itself, but also through pre-event planning and post-event stewardship strategies. Since launching From the Heart, the team has raised millions of dollars for organizations across Florida and beyond. Their unique blend of storytelling, strategy, and energy inspires generosity and strengthens donor relationships, ensuring events don't just raise money, but also build lasting impact. And with that, I turn it over to Jennifer and Hallie. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you so much, Christine. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a good start to your Wednesday. Cannot believe we're almost in April already. I know for us fundraisers, this is like the time. So we're very grateful that you took some time out of your busy fundraising season to be here with us. I am going to share my screen here. And click present. Does that look okay to everybody?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, wonderful. Let me just reconfigure my little Zoom windows. I've got all the pop-ups. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, I guess now. Christine introduced us, so thank you, Christine. But my name's Hallie Peilet Young. As she said, I'm a licensed benefit auction specialist and auctioneer. For the benefit auction specialist designation, BAS, that is kind of the gala or fundraiser auctioneer designation. There are 11 of us in the state of Florida, and you're looking at two of them. So we're very happy to be here with you. I'm co-founder of From the Heart Fundraising alongside Jennifer. And just a little bit about me before getting into auctioneering and fundraising. I actually used to be a news anchor and a news reporter here in Sarasota where I live. I did that for about 5 years and then got out of news, went to work for a nonprofit, and then helped plan our first gala and fell in love with the fundraising and the storytelling and putting together the mission moment videos and watching what an impact that makes. And so after that, I got my auctioneer license. And now Jennifer and I get to do this and work with nonprofits all around Florida and all around the country. So we feel very, very blessed and grateful to work with so many important missions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, my name is Jennifer Downs. I'm a fundraising consultant with over a decade of experience in the nonprofit world. As Hallie said, we are benefit auctioneer specialists, co-founder from the Heart Fundraising, and a mom to 3 incredible children. It truly that lights up my life. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you to Christine, the AFP board, and the entire team for all their hard work in putting this webinar together. We truly appreciate you and the invitation to present. All right, everybody, let's just dive in. How does that sound? In fundraising, we talk a lot about goals, dollars, and needs, but what truly inspires people to give isn't data, it's connection. And that connection is built through storytelling. Can everyone please pull up your chat box right now if you don't already have it up? And we would love you to answer a few questions for us. So once you're in the chat box, can you please enter how many fundraising events do you hold annually at your organization? As you are doing that, as you're entering your numbers, let me also ask you, how many of you feel like you have the support system you need to execute your events? Whether it's internal support, committee members, or a combination of both, either way, do you have the support you need to execute your events? All right, so I see three. Tara, congratulations on your new position. She just started at SASJ Health Foundation in October. You're planning your first one in May. Good for you. And yeah, oh my gosh, 10th page, 10 plus events at multiple locations. Oh my gosh, we need to chat because I just would love to pick your brain and how you keep your sanity. Hundreds, the foundations attend, doesn't host or organize them. Wow, Doreen, that's interesting. I'm in the same boat, planning for the future. Paige, you have a great team. That's awesome. Good feedback. Thank you, everybody, in advance for participating in our chat questions. We appreciate it. So, as one of the most consistent patterns I've seen in working with nonprofits across the country, and I've worked with some in Canada, is that there really is rarely enough time, staff capacity, or support to bring an event to life the way it truly deserves. And almost always, the mission moment, arguably the most powerful part of the entire evening, is one of the last components to be planned. It just gets pushed aside due to more urgent logistics that pop up. So if you do take one thing from today's session, please let it be this. Invest the time in your mission moment. Plan it intentionally. Choose the right story. Decide who is going to tell it. Map out the logistics of implementation so it's impactful. And if you have the bandwidth, think about how you can weave your mission through your entire event experience, not just in that one spotlight moment. But for today, we are going to focus on the mission moment specifically. We're here to offer practical tips, proven strategies, and a little bit of inspiration to help bring it to life in a way that connects, moves, and motivates your audience. Okay, so diving in, what is the purpose of a mission moment? It's to humanize the humanize the mission. It puts a face or a story to the impact of the organization. We want to evoke emotion, tap into the audience's emotions, which is a proven motivator for charitable giving. We want to create a sense of urgency in the room. We want to highlight the need and show the direct impact of support, often leading into that paddle raise and fundraising ask. We wanted to unify that room so everyone feels in that moment, right here, right now, we can come together as a community with that collective sense of purpose and momentum to help create change. The mission moment is a powerful emotional segment designed to connect the audience directly with the heart of the nonprofit's work. And when done well, the mission moment is the most memorable and impactful part of the event. It's what moves people from, I like this cause, to, I need to help them right now.
Yes, which is a big difference in two very different feelings and actions. So we want to show you a real mission moment video that I actually put together for the Havens Gala, the first gala we ever did. I had gotten there in 2021. We had never done a gala before, and I really was hired to do video storytelling because that was my expertise. So before we hit play on this, I just want to give you a little context. It's from the very first gala or really formal fundraiser that they had ever done with any kind of formal ask. So at that time, the Haven had been around almost 70 years. They serve people with disabilities. It's a wonderful organization. And a lot of people didn't know who they were or what they did. So this was our opportunity to make them fall in love with the mission and knock that story out of the park that night. So I had the responsibility and the honor of crafting that mission moment that played right before our big paddle raise. And so, with 68 years of history on campus, let's just say I had a lot of stories to choose from, overwhelming in a good way. But immediately, my mind and my heart and my gut went right to one family, the Jordan family, who you are about to meet. So, I'll tell you a little bit more later about why exactly I chose them and why I thought they were the right fit. But for now, I want you to experience it the same way our guests did that night. So, picture this. You're all dressed up at a beautiful gala. The theme of the evening is My Disability is My Superpower. And I'm standing on stage as the MC, and I say, every now and then, you meet somebody whose presence stays with you long after the moment has passed. Now imagine not just one, but three people like that. Three sisters, all of them living with Down syndrome, all of them touched by deep family tragedy. And yet, every single time I see them, they're smiling, genuinely, joyfully, because of the love, stability, and community that they found at the Haven. Here's the story of the Jordan sisters.
I was a basket case after I lost my wife. Sorry. When we had Rebecca, we accept, that was, then we had one with Down syndrome. Well, then we had two. Well, that was okay. That's a little strange. So then we had Caleb, and Caleb was okay, and then we had Rachel. So now we have three with Down syndrome. My wife, Joyce, we've been married for about 29 years, and she had breast cancer for a number of years. In March of 2009, we found out that the breast cancer had moved into her brain. December of 2009, she passed away. Lost my job and didn't know what to do. I didn't raise the girls. Joyce was a stay-at-home mom. I worked full-time. The church that we go to, they really stepped up and helped us a lot. So I could focus on what to do with the girls. Didn't know how to dress them or anything. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was worried that somebody was going to come in and take the girls because, you think the worst things. I looked at a number of places, but when I came to the Haven and Brad took me on a tour, I was just amazed at what was going on here with the houses on the property, the facilities they had. I was so impressed. I knew the people here cared about all of the clients. As a parent, we make so many decisions for them, and we try to make the right decisions all the time. But at some point, you got to kind of let them make a decision. And Rebecca really wanted to come out to the Haven. And then they started finding Becca would work in the kitchen, and then Leah and Rachel would work in the warehouse, and they would sort hangers, and they did O-rings for different things. I was amazed what the girls were doing. I didn't know that Leah would be able to do some of this stuff, and she's doing it. And she loves it. And Rachel, she shows me that she tapes the boxes up, and Becca washes the dishes. She can help me with the dishes at home. They vacuum the floors. They see what other people are doing here, and they do the same thing at home, which we take for granted. I get to see them do it, and it's amazing to see the progress they have made over the years. The personality of each girl has come out from being here. They know more people than I know, and it's nice to see that people don't shy away from them because they have a disability. They're just part of the group. Rachel still has a hard time with mommy being gone. We have to have stars on the ceiling because those are mommy stars. Even though she's 27 years old, I couldn't do it if it wasn't for Joyce. If she didn't set the ground for the girls and for the whole family, it would be a whole different story. You can't just have somebody talk to you about the Haven. You have to come here and see it. I'm so glad we're here because the quality of their life wouldn't be as good as it is without the Haven. And I mean that.
All right, everybody, I'd love for you to jump back into that chat box and please enter one word describing how the video made you feel. How did it make you feel? Warm, hopeful, yes, hopeful, heartwarming, sad, and inspired. Doreen, I love that because you had both feelings, which is part of the goal of the mission moment. Oh, I love it. Keep adding in your feelings. I'll jump back to it to read more, but I'd love to also show you some data. So, as you all know, obviously data is a huge part of our fundraising world, and stories are up to 22 times more memorable than facts alone. Emotional appeals equal higher giving. Donors are 60% more likely to give when an emotional story is shared versus when only statistics are provided. And mission moments raise 70%, 60 to 80% of the total event revenue when paired with a powerful emotional story.
So we want to take you through an interactive activity. So close your eyes, except I think Tara, you might be on your walking pad, so don't close your eyes.
Move that whenever you want.
Close your eyes and just put anything down that you might be holding, your phone or pens or pencils. Just clear all distractions, close your eyes, and put your hands in your lap with your palms facing up to the ceiling. Feel free to turn your camera off. Take a long, deep breath in and exhale all the way out. Again, a deep breath in and let it go. Now I want you to go to the place in your mind's eye where you feel your mission the most. That moment that gives you the goosebumps, that lump in your throat, that thing that makes you say, "This is why I do what I do." Where are you? Who are you with? What do you hear? What do you see? Picture yourself in that exact environment that fills your cup, that moment that reminds you why you show up every day. Maybe you're seeing somebody smile for the first time in a long time. Maybe it's a family finding relief. Maybe it's a breakthrough or a quiet thank you. Whatever it is, feel it fully. Now breathe into that feeling. Take one more deep breath in and let it go. And now you can gently open your eyes. So if you could pull up that chat. I would love for you to put 3 words in that chat that capture the feeling you just had. Not a job title, not a task, not a mission statement, a feeling. So what are some of those 3 words that come to mind when you think about that moment you just pictured? Drop those in the chat.
Joy. Love it. Joy, excitement, and satisfaction.
Beautiful.
Changing the trajectory of families' lives.
Wonderful.
That was amazing. So the question becomes, how do we help the donors that are in your room the night of your event feel even a fraction of what you just felt regarding your organization? That's the power of your mission moment. That's your North Star. That's the goal. The words you just wrote down will be your guiding light in creating your story because they should be sentiments everyone can relate to. Courage, strength, compassion, love, hope. Those are universal. So once you have captured the essence of how your mission makes people feel, then you can get into the steps of how to create a compelling story.
Absolutely. So those three words will kind of be your anchor and your guide of how you want people to feel when we have that story play at your event or wherever they're seeing the story, whatever setting it may be. So we want to talk about what makes a compelling story in the first place. So you want to go through the content checklist. Do you have a real person for this story, not a talking head? So I learned this in my news days. People want to see stories about people, right? Because we all crave that true human connection. So you want a real person. And I when I say not a talking head, if there are any executive directors or CEOs on here or chief development officers, we really want the real person who's benefiting from the work that you do every day. You want to show a specific impact too, and you can use this as a framework, kind of the before and after. So, like, I didn't see you put it in the chat because I can't see the chat, but someone said I felt sad and inspired. That's the journey we want to take them on. So, you want to kind of fill in the framework of before this person found our organization, they were X or they felt X. And then show now with our help and resources, they are X or they feel blank. So that leads into the fact, and I feel so strongly about this, that you do want to show the conflict, not just the resolution. Otherwise, it's really not a story. That's where it kind of feels like a promotional video or a marketing video. So I hear it all the time. We don't want the mission moment to feel too heavy. We don't want it to be a downer or come off as woe is me. And I totally get it because nobody wants to emotionally drain their audience, right? But I want to challenge that thinking for a second because it's not woe is me if you leave the viewer by the end feeling one specific word. Any guesses in the chat of what that word is, what that feeling might be, of what they should feel at the end? Well, the word we have in mind is hope.
Oh, we got euphoria.
Euphoria is even better, actually. Hope, euphoria, joy, inspiration. So if your story leaves somebody feeling hopeful, then it was not too dark, it was just real. And real is what moves people. I always like to say you can only bring people as low as you're prepared to lift them out. So, yes, maybe you're telling a story where somebody lost their mom, the dad lost their job, half the kids have Down syndrome, everything falls apart, and you're thinking, okay, yikes, is this too much? But the key is you don't leave them there. You take the audience with you through that pain, and then you show them how your organization showed up, how you became the turning point, and how you were the reason that this person or this family found their footing again. And so now, by the end of the story, you've got a complete transformation. So, yes, technically, it's the same person as the beginning of your story, but because of your work and your support and your mission, they're really not the same person anymore. And to me, that's not depressing. That's not woe is me. That's just hope. And hope is what makes people give. And so then when it comes to selecting the right interview subject, oh, sorry about that. When it comes to selecting the right interview subject, you want to ask yourself the following. Are they articulate? Are they outgoing? Are they engaging? And would they be compelling if they share their story on camera? So there might be a great story, but if you ask that question and the answer is no, it might not be the right fit for your mission moment. So, at the case of the Jordan sisters, they unfortunately can't articulate their story in a way most people can understand. So, keep in mind with the right visuals, the main character of your story and the interview subject do not have to be the same person. So, the sisters are the main characters of the story, but their dad was the interview subject because he could eloquently relay their story. And then when we talk about visuals, this is important too. And music sets the whole tone too. And I don't know if you could really hear the music because sometimes that doesn't translate when I play it over Zoom. So we'll make sure that you get a copy of the video. But choosing the right the music can totally determine the whole mood of the video. So with the visual elements, the Jordans could have the best story in the world. But if I wasn't able to get family photos or pictures of their mom Joyce who passed, or when he's saying Leah works on the hangers and Rachel tapes up the boxes, how I had those exact shots to show them doing those things, the story wouldn't have been anywhere near as effective. So you really don't want to just show an interview subject on screen talking the whole time. You want to be able to have visual elements that you can weave in and out that aid in telling your story more effectively.
So we've selected your story and helped identify the individual or family you would like to feature. So now the question becomes, how are we going to share it? Through a video or through a live speaker? So personally, I am a strong advocate for investing in a video, and I do know it's an investment, but why I'm such a strong advocate for it is because simply you have full control. You control what's said, what music's being played, how the message is being said and delivered, how long it takes to deliver it, and editing becomes your best friend. A well-produced video allows you to highlight not just the individual's story, but also showcase your organization in action, just like Hallie had mentioned with the girls doing the hangers and taping up the boxes. You can layer in beautiful B-roll footage of your programs, staff, services, your campus, all while a thoughtful voiceover guides your audience through the emotional journey of the story we're sharing. And here's the key. You want to deliver all of this in 3 to 4 minutes. That's the sweet spot with your mission moment timing. Anything longer and you risk losing your audience's attention. Now, producing a video does take planning, and ideally you should start recording your video 4 months before your event. That gives you enough time for edits, revisions, and what I like to call a stress-free production process. The goal is to not work on this while the pressure is at its peak, not during that intense 4 to 6 weeks before the event day. We all know 4 weeks out before your event, you're slammed. You're putting out fires, you're running through logistics, and you don't have the time or bandwidth to focus on editing or crafting your video. So ideally, your video is done by then. Trust me, when you wait too long, you're forced to make sacrifices just because there's not enough time in the day. You settle. And this is the moment you don't want to settle. This is the moment you've built the entire event around. Don't compromise the one story that's going to move people to give. Now, I completely understand that for some organizations, producing a video might not be feasible, and that's okay. A live speaker can be just as powerful if, and this is a big if, you take the time to prepare them properly. I think we've all been at events where a speaker either loses the room, they go too long, they ramble, they freeze, or they just, let's say, go off script a little bit. And when that happens, it can seriously hurt your paddle raise. So how do we set your speaker and your organization up for success?
So glad you asked, Jennifer. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about how to set this person up for success because just handing them a microphone and hoping for the best is not a strategy. So it all starts with a conversation. So you might already have a story in mind about, you think that you know how your organization has touched this person's life, but don't assume that you know how they see it because their version of the story might be completely different and usually even more powerful than what you have in your head. So schedule a call with them, sit down over the phone, do a Zoom, have coffee, and just ask them, how has our organization been most meaningful and impactful in your life? And just listen. Just let them run with it because what they say may surprise you. And next, like Jennifer mentioned, it's really, really important to set expectations around timing. So the sweet spot really is that 3 to 4 minute mark, as Jen said earlier. But as we all know, if we've done events, when you tell somebody keep it to 3 to 4 minutes, what number are they going to hear? 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 6. So if you want it even shorter, do not be afraid to say, hey, we really need to keep it to 3 minutes and let them know it's not about cutting them short or making them feel like their story doesn't matter. It's just about being intentional. So just explain, we really only have the audience's undivided attention for a short window. So we just need to make every word count. That's all. And then think about what visual elements could support them. So even if you're not doing a video, do you have photos of that person participating in your program, smiling with your staff, engaging in your services? You could throw together a simple slideshow that plays behind them on the screens when they're giving their speech. And at that point, that's a small lift. Just takes a few minutes to compile those photos, but it adds so much depth and emotion to the words that they're saying because now people can actually visualize these moments that have changed that person's life. And here's the part we've all heard before. Don't worry, I'm a pretty good speaker. I'll just wing it. No. And oh no. Have them write a script, rehearse it again. If they're comfortable, have them rehearse it with you so you can give gentle and constructive feedback. Um, Actually, Jennifer did an event recently where the nonprofit said, "Here's our mission moment speaker," and her whole speech was about 5 sentences long. And so Jen really worked with them to say, "Hey, how can we beef it up? How can we talk a little bit more about how this organization has made you feel, how it's changed your life?" So then her entire script changed. And then when she got to the event, you have to keep in mind most people are so terrified of public speaking. It's one of the biggest fears out there. So your job is to make them feel really safe and supported and confident. So when Jennifer got there, she had the girl go up and practice her speech on the stage with the lights in the actual room before people got there. So you can feel that adrenaline rush and kind of get that out of your system. And then by the time you're actually doing it, you feel comfortable because you've gotten some reps in on stage and your nervous system has calmed down a little bit. So if you can get there early, rehearse it with them and under the bright lights because they are so much brighter than everybody always thinks they're going to be.
And to enhance that a little bit more, I made her run through the script twice because she even looked at me halfway through a couple of her sentences and said, "I think I'm good, Jen," while she was physically shaking because she had no idea the lights were going to be so bright on her. And I used the excuse, which wasn't really an excuse, it was what was happening, that the AV team needed more time to hear her so they could program her sound appropriately because she was so soft-spoken. So she
Mhm.
got through it once, and then I looked back up at her and I said, "How do you feel about running through it one more time?" And she actually said, "Yes, I would love to do it one more time." So she ran through it again, and we got her comfortable with the microphone, with the lights. So before there was 500 eyeballs staring at her, we got her into a place where she was able to deliver her speech with power and presence. And it just changed the whole delivery and made that moment so impactful. Yes, the coaching approach is key. Thank you for adding that in the chat. It was huge. And you need to have someone to take the time to implement that if you're going with a speaker.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. So making the ask is one of the most critical parts of the night as well. And one done correctly, the wave of generosity should sweep your room. Besides verbally making the ask, we need to provide a visual component as well. So this is when the mission moment is complete and we're going into your call to the heart, paddle raise, fund a need, whatever you call it. We need to make the ask strong and compelling. So our best recommendations are ensure each level of financial giving that you are asking for receives its own slide. Please put photos on it, as well as a concise, tangible impact statement. So we're going to have an example on the screen. It's a $1,000 donation we're asking for. It could help provide a therapy scholarship for a preschool student. And as you see, we have attached photos to it. This is what we need in order for your donors are now verbally hearing whoever is making this ask on behalf of your organization. They're verbally hearing it from them, but now they're visually seeing it on the screen as well. And they're seeing a brief statement so they understand how their support could help your organization with photos that go along with it. It changes the game. It connects their dots so much faster in their head and gets those paddles up so much faster. The audience needs to hear it and see it in order to effectively pull at their heartstrings. So one of the biggest questions I always get is we don't want the funds during our call to the heart to be restricted. And we completely agree. We don't want any of your funds restricted. So when presenting a visual on how their donation can help support your organization, it really makes it more appealing to the donors to get involved as they have a true understanding of different ways their donations help. I also like to use the word could, as you saw on the screen. $1,000 could help provide a therapy scholarship for a preschool student. We're still painting the picture, but using the right words that don't restrict our funding. The tangible impact statements also allow us an opportunity to educate the attendees on other areas of your organization that the video didn't touch on.
Absolutely. And that part is huge because I know where you live, where Jennifer is in Vero Beach, where I am in Sarasota. Fundraisers are a dime a dozen. People go to multiple in a day at this time of year. And I hear from people all the time, that event was fun, but I left and I still don't know what the organization does. And you cannot afford to have people leave when you spend so much time and staff energy and money planning an event, and they don't know exactly what you do when they leave. So those tangible impact statements are kind of like a sneaky way to keep educating people about all the things you do without having to stand up there and say, here are all of our programs and here are how they work. You tie them into your story. So here are a couple more examples of that in action. So for the areas that the video did touch on, you can use those to tie the story into the ask with your higher levels. So with the paddle raise, if you're starting that ask at $10,000, you could tie in the Jordan story in this example and say, you saw what a difference the adult day training program makes in the Jordan sisters' lives. Your gift of $10,000 could provide a yearly scholarship to this program for 5 clients. And the more that you can quantify it like that and say, could do this for X amount of people, or could provide X number of this, that benchmark is such a great way to motivate your crowd. So if I get a gift of 10,000, I could say that could fund 5 clients. Can we make it 10? And then we get another 10,000 because people want to be that person to bring you to that next milestone. So quantifying it helps as much as you are able to do so. So by looping that in, that provides continuity from your story. It kind of just flows right into the ask because you're bringing the Jordan girls right into the ask. And then you can pull other areas of your organization into the lower levels that your video didn't touch on. For example, the girls don't yet live on campus, but the Haven does have a residential program with 8 group homes and 75 residents. Your gift of $500 could fund 2 residents' birthday parties. And that was an actual tangible impact statement we use. And I had people calling me after the event saying, hey, I want to fund one of the birthday parties. Or hey, I raised my paddle for one of the birthday parties. Can I come to the birthday party? So it's such a great way to get people involved in your mission, even though the funding is unrestricted and you're just painting the picture of how far their dollars could go instead of just them picturing them being kind of thrown into a black hole, so to speak.
So now that we have all of the components of selecting and sharing your organization's story and how to make the ask for a compelling mission moment and paddle race segment, let's briefly highlight when this should occur within your program, also known as the sweet spot. And please know, as I'm saying this recommendation out loud, we fully understand every organization has its own nuances on who needs to be on stage and why they need to be on stage and so on and so forth. So just take this with a grain of salt. But the mission moment and paddle race should occur after the live auction if you're conducting one. We want to take the guests on a wave of different energy. So starting off with the live auction is high energy. Wow, this is amazing. How many times did that trip sell? Holy moly, we just sold that for $1 billion. Then we will bring everything down and remind everyone why we are gathered today, why we are gathered today together. We want to ground them, which is entering your mission moment. And then we want to bring the energy back up by asking everyone in the room to come together as a community to support A, B, and C. That's your paddle raise, call to the heart, fund to need, whatever you call it. This is our recommendation of how to place those components together within your run of show, because the goal is to have your fundraising begin towards the beginning-ish of your program. Please don't put it behind the awards or the keynote speaker. We want to take advantage of capturing everyone's attention at that peak moment. So I highly encourage each of you to do an audit of your run of show. And if the fundraising hasn't occurred by the 30-minute-ish mark, look at why and how you can adjust it accordingly. And again, I say ish because I fully understand every organization has its own nuances and why certain things happen when for certain reasons within your run of show, but it's called a sweet spot for a reason. If you start too soon in your program, guests aren't ready for it. And if you wait too long, your guests are just tired. They've already listened to all of the content you have delivered before your fundraising pieces. They're ready to go home and they've just simply stopped listening. So really take the time to determine what that sweet spot means for you and your run of show. And as a side note, during the mission moment and the paddle raise, call to the heart, there should be no service. So no clearing of dishes, no clanking of forks, no bars open, nothing. Those are the 2 moments of the evening that we want everyone to just be silent and to pay attention and to remember why we are gathered there tonight. So please factor that in when you're mapping out the logistics of your evening. So as you walk back into your day-to-day, into planning meetings, spreadsheets, timelines, and to-do lists, hold on to the moment you felt when you were thinking about your organization. Hold on to your why, because your story is not just the reason you show up. It's the reason someone else might choose to give.
Absolutely. You've got to make it and treat it like the main event because when people really feel the heart of your mission, they give from a different place. And that's when fundraising really becomes something more. That's when it becomes transformational.
So at this time, we left some time for Q&A. So if anyone wants to either drop it in the chat or come off mute, you're more than welcome to ask us any questions. Also, we are from theheartfundraising.com. So if you would like to connect afterwards, we would love to connect with you and talk about your specific events and how we could support you or help answer any questions. Sounds good. Was that good? We're no questions.
No, this is great. I'm taking notes for my event next in May. So this is like perfect timing. This is very helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Tara, for joining us.
And I dropped your website in the chat as well. So if people want to follow up, I know this was really great and informative, and just it continued to reaffirm best practices, especially the nuance of the pledge and when and where and how to make sure that it goes off without a hitch.
Absolutely. And Christine's sharing all of your email addresses with us. So after the event, we do have like a little chart of how to create your mission moment that Hallie created, which was super cute. We'll send to everybody as just a quick reference guide if you're in the process of mapping it out and you're like, which direction should I go? This chart will help guide you.
We love a good flow chart.
Yeah.
Flow
Thank you all
charts
for
are
the comments.
great. And we've got a lot of great positive comments.
And I know that another thing we want to just say too is I know that this is really geared towards events specifically and events where you do an ask, but these storytelling tidbits you can totally take and apply to pieces that aren't event related necessarily. And also just know that if you invest in a mission moment video for a fundraiser in person, you can use that video again. So the less you make it like gala or fundraiser specific, where no one's talking about the fundraiser in your video, you can reutilize that for a campaign or a specific appeal. So that's another way to just get a little more return on your investment if you decide to go the professional video production route too.
Definitely, and work with your videographer ahead of time, letting them know you want to repurpose the video for different elements and fundraising components post the event. They can help build reels out of it for you for social media. So there's so many different ways when if you make that investment to really maximize your ROI on it with different, fundraising avenues to share your story. And another big thing is we wholeheartedly believe if you are planning an event and taking the time to have we call a gratitude plan for post-event stewardship, locked and loaded before your event even happens. Because usually after your event's done, everyone's exhausted. You're just physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. So having your gratitude plan ready to go in place before the event even takes off helps eliminate that brain power that's needed to execute the gratitude plan because you've already have it mapped out. The whole point of throwing an event is to obviously cultivate current donors, but also to get new ones. And you want to have that in place because you want to convert them into long-term donors.
Absolutely. So if any of you are actually attending Planet Philanthropy in June, we're going to be giving a presentation at Planet Philanthropy about, okay, so they gave at the event, now what? Because only 18% of givers from an event make another gift. And so how do you steward them after the event? And that gratitude plan is something that we're super passionate and nerdy about and love to talk about.
When I saw Giving USA's report for 2024, I can't wait for 2025's report to come out in June. But when I saw that statistic of 18% is first-time donors and they only give once, 18% only give once and they don't return. We have to change that number, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for attending and for making the time. We know everybody's so swamped this time of year, so we're glad we could do it virtually, save you the time and traffic. And like Jennifer said, we're here if you have any questions, and we'll be sure to send you that flow chart as well to help guide your mission moment planning.
Well, thank you again for presenting. We really appreciate it. I think this was fabulous. A round of virtual applause from all of us. Again, huge thank you. We'll be sending out the recording and some information on this event. And I dropped some information in the chat again about AFP Miami events, and also for Planet Philanthropy if you're looking to join in on the fun. But thank you so much again, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you all next month. Actually, at least in June. But thank you so much for your support, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thanks,
day.
everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Christine.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Christine.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.